Hello there, and welcome to a quiet journey to the highest places on Earth. Tonight, we'll explore the most relaxing facts about mountains, letting their timeless presence lull us into a deep and peaceful sleep. If you find comfort in these stories, feel free to like or subscribe so you can easily find your way back here. But for now, there is nothing you need to do but rest. Breathe gently, listen to the sound of my voice, and allow your thoughts to soften like mist in a high valley. Let's begin. We often think of mountains as the most solid, permanent features of our world. Unchanging sentinels of stone that stand against the sky, watching centuries pass in silence. But the first, and perhaps most soothing truth, is that they are not still. They are alive with a rhythm so slow, so profound, that our own hurried lives can scarcely perceive it. Mountains have a breath, a deep, geological breath that inhales and exhales over millions of years. This breath begins deep within the earth, in the mantle, where rock, solid yet restless, flows in currents of unimaginable scale. Here, the great tectonic plates of our planet drift like rafts on a molten sea. When two continents meet, they do not simply bump and stop. They press together with a force that defies comprehension. And in that colossal, slow-motion collision, the land has nowhere to go but up. It crumples, it folds, it fractures, and from the flatness, a mountain is born. This is the mountain's inhalation, a rising, a lifting, a slow sigh of stone reaching for the heavens. The Himalayas, the Alps, the Rockies, all were born from this ancient, patient breath. Imagine the process. Not a violent, sudden explosion, but a relentless, steady pressure. An inch per year, a centimeter per generation. It is a pace that makes a glacier seem hasty. The rock under this immense pressure does not shatter all at once. It flows like thick syrup, or it folds like a rug being pushed across a floor. Vast layers of stone, once lying flat on an ancient sea floor, are tilted vertically, standing on end like the pages of a stone book. This is the mountain's deep, drawn-in breath, a gathering of the earth's very substance into a monument of its own power. But for every inhalation, there must be an exhalation. And the mountain's outbreath is just as slow, just as inevitable. It is the breath of release, of letting go. From the moment a peak first pierces the clouds, it begins to surrender itself back to the world. The exhalation is carried on the wind, which whispers against the rock, grain by grain. It flows with the rain, which, slightly acidic, dissolves the toughest minerals. It freezes in the cracks as water becomes ice and expands, gently prying the stone apart. This outbreath is the journey of a single pebble. A fragment of granite, once locked deep in the heart of the mountain, is exposed to sun and frost. Over millennia, it works itself loose, tumbles down a slope, and comes to rest in a streambed. There, the water rolls it over and over, smoothing its edges, rounding its form, carrying it slowly, grain by grain, toward the sea. The mountain is giving itself back, particle by particle. The sand on a distant beach, the silt that fertilizes a vast floodplain, much of it is the dust of ancient, vanished mountains. Their exhalation becomes the foundation for new life far away. This cycle is the great, calming rhythm of the planet, the uplift and the erosion, the inhalation and the exhalation. Some mountains are still rising, breathing in, growing taller even now though we cannot see it. Others, older and more weary, are breathing out, their peaks softening, their heights diminishing with every passing rainfall. The gentle, rounded Appalachians were once as sharp and tall as the Himalayas, their fierce peaks now softened by 500 million years of the earth's soft, patient sigh. There is a deep peace in this knowledge. Our lives are filled with frantic cycles, the beating of our hearts, the rush of our breath, the rising and setting of the sun. But the mountain operates on a scale that holds all our hurries within its immense, slow calm. Every worry, every triumph, every fleeting moment of human history has occurred within a single, quiet breath of a mountain. So as you begin to drift towards sleep, imagine yourself not on the mountain, but as a part of it. Feel your own breath beginning to sync with this ancient rhythm. As you inhale, imagine the slow, mighty uplift of stone, a feeling of quiet strength and stability. And as you exhale, imagine the gentle release, the letting go of all tension, all worry, worn away and carried off like dust on a soft breeze. The mountain is not a rigid, unmoving thing. It is a slow-breathing entity. And in its timeless rhythm, you can find a permission slip to release the need for speed, to let go of the day, and to simply be as steady and as patient as stone itself. Rest now, cradled by the thought of these ancient, breathing giants. There is nothing more you need to do. Just breathe and let the world slow down. A mountain does not simply interrupt the landscape. It converses with the heavens. Its highest peaks are artists' tools, silently shaping the fluid canvas of the sky, weaving vapors into clouds and painting the air with weather. This silent, constant creation is a ballet of physics and form, a gentle performance where the earth teaches the sky how to dance. The process begins with the wind, a river of air flowing unseen across the continents. When this river meets the immense wall of a mountain range, it has no choice but to rise. As the air is lifted, it journeys into thinner atmosphere, expanding and cooling in its new, spacious home. And within this cooling embrace, magic stirs. Invisible water vapor, carried from distant oceans, begins to condense. It clings to microscopic particles, a speck of dust, a grain of salt, a spore of pollen, and transforms into a billion tiny liquid droplets. From nothing a cloud is born. This is the mountain's first act of creation, making the invisible visible, painting the blue void with soft, drifting white. These are orographic clouds, the children of the high places, forever clinging to the shoulders of their stone parents. Watch the windward side of a great peak, and you will see a perpetual banner of cloud streaming from its summit. It is the mountain's breath made tangible, a slow, ethereal exhalation that forms and reforms in an endless, hypnotic loop. The mountain is not a passive obstacle, but a collaborator with the wind, using its relentless flow to spin a soft, flowing garment for itself. The mountain's influence extends beyond the clouds it creates to the rain it coaxes from them. As the air continues to rise and cool, the tiny droplets within the cloud collide and merge, growing heavier and heavier until they can no longer be held aloft. They fall first as a gentle mist, then as a steady rain that nourishes the slopes below. This is why one side of a mountain is often a lush, green paradise, a rainforest thriving in the constant gift of precipitation. The mountain acts as a benevolent giant, wringing moisture from the sky to feed the forests at its feet, but every action has its counterpart. Once the air has crossed the summit, it begins its descent down the far side. Now the process reverses. The air sinks, compresses, and warms. This warmth allows it to hold more moisture, and the clouds begin to evaporate, dissolving back into the transparent gas from which they came. The rain stops. The sky's clear. This is the rain shadow, and it creates a world of stark contrast. While one side of the mountain is a realm of mist and moss, the other may be a sun-drenched, arid valley. The mountain is a great stone gatekeeper, quietly deciding which lands shall be swathed in cloud and which shall bask in unbroken light. On days when the atmosphere is perfectly balanced, the mountain's artistry produces its most breathtaking masterpiece. The lenticular cloud. These are smooth, lens-shaped formations that hang, motionless and dreamlike, over the peak. They are not truly stationary. They are a manifestation of a standing wave of air, like the stationary ripple in a river downstream of a boulder. Moisture continuously condenses at the crest of this invisible wave and evaporates in the trough, creating the illusion of a solid, unmoving object anchored to the sky. To see one is to witness a paradox, a cloud that has found perfect stillness amidst the rushing wind. It is a silent, serene monument to equilibrium, a reminder that even in flow there can be profound peace. There is a deep comfort in this silent choreography. The mountain takes the chaotic, invisible currents of the global atmosphere and gives them structure, beauty, and purpose. It reminds us that we too can be a calming, shaping presence in the turbulence of our own lives. We can be the stable point around which chaos finds its order, where frantic energy is transformed into something soft, beautiful, and transient. So as you rest, imagine yourself as that peaceful summit. Let the winds of thought and worry flow toward you. You need not stop them. Simply allow them to rise up and move your steady, silent core. Watch as they cool and condense into passing thoughts, visible for a moment, shaped by your presence, but never permanent. They are merely clouds drifting across the vast sky of your mind. You are the silent, unmoving sculptor beneath them, the anchor in the ever-changing weather of consciousness. Breathe and let them drift away, leaving only the clear, quiet blue of sleep. To walk upon a mountain is to tread upon a library older than language itself. The stones beneath your feet are not mute. They speak in a silent, mineral tongue, telling stories of fire, pressure, and deep time. Each layer of sediment, every glittering crystal, and every twisted fold in the rock is a sentence in the mountain's autobiography, written over millions of years and waiting for a patient eye to read its quiet prose. The most fundamental dialect in this stony language is that of igneous rock, born from the heart of fire. Granite, with its speckled canvas of quartz, feldspar, and mica, tells a story of slow, patient cooling. It speaks of a past spent as a bubbling, molten magma trapped in a subterranean chamber for eons, its crystals growing large and distinct in the insulating darkness. When you see a sheer granite cliff face, you are looking at a fragment of that ancient subterranean world, now exposed to the sun and wind. In contrast, the fine-grained, sometimes glassy texture of basalt recounts a tale of a swift, violent journey. It is the language of lava that raced to the surface, meeting the cold air or water, and freezing in an instant, its story captured in a rapid, frantic whisper. These rocks are the mountain's fiery core, its original voice, speaking of creation from chaos. Layered upon this fiery foundation, or sometimes in its place, is the softer, more measured story of sedimentary rock. Sandstone, limestone, and shale are the historians of the range. They speak not of fire, but of water and air, of patience and accumulation. Sandstone begins as individual grains of sand, perhaps from an ancient desert or a long-vanished beach, carried by wind and water, settling grain upon grain for millions of years. The pressure of subsequent layers, the gentle percolation of mineral-rich water, slowly cements them into a solid whole. You can still see the individual grains, the cross-bedding of ancient currents, a frozen snapshot of a world in motion. Limestone tells an even more intimate story. It is composed of the skeletons of countless marine organisms, shells, corals, and microscopic plankton that settled to the floor of a warm, shallow sea. A mountain peak composed of limestone is a testament to the profound power of uplift, a sea floor lifted kilometers into the sky, its fossilized inhabitants now gazing upon the clouds. But the mountain's story does not end with its birth or its accumulation. The most dramatic chapters are written by immense force in the language of metamorphic rock. This is the story of transformation. When pre-existing rock, whether igneous or sedimentary, is subjected to tremendous heat and crushing pressure deep within the Earth's crust, it does not melt. Instead, it changes. It recrystallizes it. Shale, a soft, layered rock formed from mud, becomes slate, then phyllite, then schist, gaining a silky sheen and wavy foliation as its minerals realign. Limestone, under the same immense forces, transforms into marble, its fossils often erased, its texture becoming a uniform, crystalline sugar of calcite. The stone is reborn, its past obscured but not erased, its new form a testament to its journey through the planet's hidden forges. The most eloquent passages in this stony text are the folds and fractures. A vast fold in a mountainside where layers of rock are bent into a great arch or a trough speaks of unimaginable slow-motion pressure. The rock, which seems so brittle, has flowed like taffy over geologic time, its curves a permanent record of the continental collision that gave it birth. Fault lines, those sharp fractures where the earth has broken and slipped, tell a different story, one of sudden release after centuries of built-up strain. They are the punctuation marks in the mountain's story, moments of earthquake and shift. To understand this language is to feel time expand. The pebble you hold in your hand may have been part of a magma chamber 500 million years ago, then eroded into sand and deposited on a beach, only to be buried, heated, transformed into a new rock, and finally lifted to this high place. Its journey is a novel written across eras. The mountain does not rush its story. It writes in millennia, its narrative unfolding at a pace that makes human history seem like the blink of an eye. There is a profound stillness in listening to this silent story. It puts our own brief, frantic lives into a calming perspective. Our greatest worries and triumphs are but a single, fleeting grain in the vast sandstone of deep time. The mountain has endured transformations far greater than any we will ever face. Burial, compression, heating, uplift, and erosion, and it stands not in defiance, but in serene acceptance of these cycles. So, as you rest, let your mind drift over this ancient, silent language. Imagine your own worries as mere grains of sand or as small, malleable layers in a much larger story. They are subject to the same forces of time and perspective, and they, too, will eventually find their place in the greater structure of your life. There is no need to fight the pressure. Even the most beautiful marble was once simple limestone, transformed by the very forces that seemed to threaten it. Be like the stone. Be patient, be still. Let the deep, slow time of the mountain's story wash over you, soothing your hurried spirit with its billion-year-old calm. The stones have held their silence for eons. You can borrow their quiet peace tonight. High in the mountain's sacred recesses, where the air is thin and the silence is profound, flow rivers not of water, but of ice. Glaciers are the mountain's slow beating heart, a crystalline blood moving with a patience that defies human perception. They are not frozen statues, but living, breathing entities of ice, carving valleys and grinding stone with a gentle, inexorable force that speaks not of haste, but of inevitability. A glacier begins not with a cataclysm, but with a whisper, a single snowflake falling on a high alpine basin. Season after season, year after year, new snow falls upon the old, compressing the layers beneath. The air is slowly squeezed out, and the delicate six-armed crystals of snow begin to metamorphose. They round, they fuse, they compact into a dense, granular ice known as firn. With more time and more immense pressure, this firn is finally welded into the solid, blue-hearted ice of the glacier. This entire process is one of profound transformation, a journey from fleeting, individual beauty to a unified collective strength, a testament to the power of accumulation and patience. Once formed, the glacier begins its journey. It is a river of ice, and like a river, it flows. But its pace is a form of geology, not hydrology. It moves inches a day, sometimes only a few feet in a year. This movement is not a smooth liquid slide, but a slow plastic deformation. The immense weight of the ice, hundreds of meters thick, causes the crystals within to shear and slide past one another, the entire mass oozing downhill like a colossal, cold slug. In some places, the glacier may even detach from its rocky bed, sliding on a thin film of meltwater. To stand near one and listen closely is to hear its voice. The deep, echoing creak and groan of internal adjustment, the muffled thunder of a serac collapsing, the gentle drip of meltwater. These are the sounds of its slow-motion life, and as it lives, it sculpts. The glacier is the master artist of the high mountains, and its tools are the rocks frozen within its belly. As it flows, it plucks fragments from the mountain's floor and walls, incorporating them into its icy matrix. These rocks become the glacier's teeth. With the immense, grinding weight of the ice behind them, they rasp and scour the underlying bedrock, polishing it to a smooth, gleaming finish known as glacial polish. They carve deep, parallel scratches called striations, graffiti left by a passing giant. They gouge out bowl-shaped cirques at their heads and grind wide, U-shaped valleys from once V-shaped river canyons. The most iconic landscapes on Earth, the sheer faces of Yosemite, the deep fjords of Norway, the serrated peaks of the Alps, are all the handiwork of these slow, icy rivers. The mountain gives the glacier its home, and the glacier, in turn, sculpts the mountain's very soul, revealing its hidden forms with patient, abrasive grace. At the terminus of the glacier, the journey ends. Here, in a zone known as the snout, the ice finally succumbs to the sun's warmth. It melts, releasing the water that has been locked within its frozen grasp for centuries. This meltwater, milky with finely ground rock flour, flows out, forming braided streams that become rivers, feeding civilizations far downstream. The glacier also releases its mineral cargo, the rocks and boulders it has carried on its long, slow journey. These form moraines, ridges of unsorted debris that mark the glacier's past extents like tide lines on a shore. In this final act, the glacier gives back to the world, providing life-giving water and building new land from the ruins of the old. There is a deep, hypnotic peace in contemplating the glacier's pace. In a world obsessed with speed, the glacier is a monument to slowness. It measures time in centuries, its progress visible only through the comparison of photographs taken generations apart. It is a reminder that not all progress needs to be swift, that some of the most profound changes occur through steady, persistent, incremental movement. The glacier does not decide to carve a valley today. It simply continues its flow, and over millennia, the valley is carved. Its power lies not in explosive force, but in unwavering presence. So as you rest, let your mind adopt the pace of the glacial flow. Let your thoughts slow from a raging river to a creeping, crystalline stream. Feel the weight of your own worries begin to compress, not to crush you, but to transform you, giving you a new, solid strength. Imagine yourself moving forward not with frantic energy, but with a calm, inexorable certainty. There is no need to rush. The most beautiful landscapes are not created in a day, but over countless patient seasons. Allow the glacier's timeless, gentle force to soothe your spirit. Feel its slow, cold current carrying you away from the urgency of the moment into a deep, quiet state of rest, where change happens not in a flash, but in the peaceful, unhurried breath of the earth itself. Just flow slowly and surely into sleep. Within the heart of a glacier, locked in its crystalline embrace, time does not pass. It is preserved. The ice that grinds slowly down from the high peaks is more than frozen water. It is a flawless archive, a library of the past written in air bubbles, volcanic ash, and the very chemistry of the atmosphere from millennia ago. While stones tell of the Earth's deep fire, the ice tells the story of the sky, a secret history of our world sealed in cold, blue silence. The archive is built layer by layer, each year adding a new page. A heavy winter snow, followed by a dusty summer, creates a distinct band in the ice, a valve of time. As centuries pass, these layers compress, but they do not vanish. Scientists can drill deep into the ice sheets and glaciers, extracting long cylindrical cores that are like tree rings for the planet. By counting these layers, they can travel back in time with astonishing precision, identifying a specific year tens of thousands of years in the past. This is the glacier's most fundamental gift, a perfect chronological record. And within these pristine layers, the stories are trapped. With each snowfall, tiny pockets of the atmosphere are captured and buried. The ice becomes a collection of microscopic time capsules. By analyzing the air bubbles in ice from 20,000 years ago during the peak of the last ice age, we can know the exact composition of the air that a woolly mammoth breathed. We can measure the carbon dioxide and methane levels, reading the planet's vital signs from an era when great ice sheets covered continents. These bubbles are silent witnesses to a different world, a breath from the Pleistocene perfectly preserved. The ice also records the planet's moments of violence and chaos. A major volcanic eruption anywhere on Earth will spew vast quantities of ash and sulfates into the stratosphere. These fine particles circle the globe and eventually fall, settling on the ice caps and glaciers. When scientists find a distinct acidic layer of ash in an ice core, they can often link it to a specific historic eruption. The cataclysm that destroyed the Minoan civilization on Thera, the eruption of Mount Vesuvius that buried Pompeii, the colossal explosion of Krakatoa all have left their faint, dusty signature in the global ice archive. The mountain's ice holds the memory of other mountains' fury. Perhaps the most intimate stories are those of life itself. Pollen grains from ancient forests carried on the wind were caught in the snow and entombed. They tell of shifting ecosystems, of advancing and retreating tree lines as the climate warmed and cooled. Dust from distant deserts preserved in the ice speaks of periods of drought and aridity, of winds that howled across barren landscapes. There is even evidence of human industry. Ice cores from Greenland show a sudden spike in lead pollution during the height of the Roman Empire, when lead smelting for coins and plumbing was at its peak. The ice recorded our first fumbling steps into metallurgy, a smudge of our presence from a world without factories. This frozen library is not a static relic. It is a testament to interconnectedness. A volcanic eruption in Indonesia writes its story in the ice of Antarctica. A change in the industrial output of Europe is recorded in the glaciers of the Peruvian Andes. The ice reveals that no event, no breath, no particle is ever truly isolated. Everything is part of a global system, a single story written in countless different ways across the planet. The mountain, in its lofty solitude, is perhaps the world's most connected historian, gathering tales from the entire globe and storing them in its frozen heart. There is a profound humility that comes from understanding this icy archive. Our own lives, so vivid and immediate to us, are but a single, infinitesimally thin layer in this deep freeze of time. The ice has witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the coming and going of ice ages, the entire span of human civilization, and it has recorded it all without judgment, without opinion. It simply accumulates the truth. So, as you drift towards sleep, imagine your own mind as a high, quiet glacier. Let the events of your day, your worries, your memories, settle like individual snowflakes upon its surface. There is no need to force them away or cling to them. They are simply data, layers being added to your own unique archive. Watch them settle into the silence, becoming part of your history, but not your present moment. The glacier does not struggle with its past. It holds it peacefully, layer upon layer, knowing that each one contributes to the strength and depth of the whole. Breathe and feel the clarity of cold, clean air. Let the stillness of the deep ice calm your spirit. Your story is still being written, but for now you can rest, preserved in the perfect peaceful present, safe in the knowledge that you, like the air in the ice, are a part of a story much larger than yourself. Let the quiet history of the world locked in mountain ice lull you into a deep and dreamless sleep. Above the tree line, in a world of rock, wind, and sky, life persists, not in spite of the harshness, but because of it. Here, in the thin soils and blistering sun of the alpine zone, plants have perfected the art of stillness. They are masters of minimalism, their entire existence a lesson in patience, adaptation, and the quiet, tenacious will to simply be. They do not tower, they cling, they do not rush, they wait. Their resilience is not loud or forceful, but woven into the very fabric of their stunted, beautiful forms. The first challenge is the wind, a constant, sculpting force that can shred tender leaves and rip moisture from the soil. The alpine flora does not fight this force. It yields, and in yielding conquers. Plants grow in low, ground-hugging cushions and dense, spreading mats. This growth form, known as a rosette, keeps them safely within the boundary layer of still air that exists just millimeters above the ground. By staying low, they escape the worst of the desiccating winds, creating their own tiny, sheltered microclimates. To walk through an alpine meadow is to walk over a living carpet, a tapestry of life that has learned the wisdom of staying close to the earth. Then there is the sun, which at high altitude is unfiltered and intense, its ultraviolet radiation capable of damaging delicate cells. In response, many alpine plants have developed their own sunscreen. Their leaves are often small, thick, and waxy, or covered in fine silvery hairs. These adaptations reflect the harsh rays and reduce water loss. Some, like the alpine forget-me-not, concentrate pigments that absorb the harmful UV light, transforming a threat into a source of their vibrant, startling blue. They have turned survival into beauty, wearing their defenses as a crown of brilliant color against the gray stone. Time itself moves differently here. The growing season is brutally short, a window of only a few weeks between the melting of the snow and the arrival of the first autumn frost. There is no time for grandeur, for building tall trunks or broad canopies. Every resource is precious. Energy is not wasted on rapid vertical growth, but is channeled into roots that grip the rocky soil with an iron tenacity, and into flowers that must bloom, be pollinated, and set seed in a breathtakingly brief span. Some plants, like the ancient bristlecone pines that cling to life just below the tree line, take this patience to an extreme, growing so slowly that a single inch of wood may represent a century of life. Their gnarled, weathered forms are a living portrait of time itself. Perhaps the most profound adaptation is one of community. In such an exposed environment, there is strength in numbers. Many alpine plants propagate vegetatively, sending out runners that root and form new plants, creating vast clonal colonies that are genetically identical and can be thousands of years old. The individual is subsumed into the collective, a single life that has learned to replicate itself across the landscape, ensuring its survival not for a season, but for millennia. They are not a forest of separate beings, but one ancient, interconnected organism, sharing resources and sheltering one another from the elements. There is a deep, untroubled peace in this high-altitude garden. These plants ask for very little: a crack in a rock, a handful of soil, a brief drink from a melting snow patch. They have pared existence down to its essentials, finding abundance in scarcity and strength in limitation. They do not strive to be anywhere else, to be anything more. They are perfectly, completely adapted to their world, embodying a serene acceptance of its conditions. As you rest, imagine yourself as one of these resilient alpine wonders. Feel your own form becoming low, grounded and secure, sheltered from the winds of worry and stress. Let your thoughts become small, waxy and efficient, reflecting the harshness of the day and conserving your inner energy. There is no need to rush your growth or force your blooming. Your time will come. For now, simply cling to the solid rock of the present moment, drawing sustenance from the deep, quiet peace that is always available beneath the surface. Breathe and feel the tenacity of life that thrives in stillness. Let the quiet resilience of the alpine flora remind you that you too possess a deep, unshakable strength. You are built to endure, to adapt, and to find vibrant color even in the most challenging conditions. Rest now held securely in your own being, as patient and enduring as the flowers that sleep beneath the mountain snow. To breathe in the high mountains is to taste a different element. It is not merely the absence of the lowlands haze, but the presence of something ancient and clarifying. The air itself feels thinner, cooler, a crisp and vibrant substance that fills the lungs, not just with oxygen, but with a sensation of lightness and purity. This air carries a signature scent, a complex perfume blended from the essence of stone, snow, and the quiet respiration of the forests that cling to the slopes. It is the smell of simplicity, of elemental things, and it has a profound, quieting effect on the human spirit. The most iconic note in this mountain perfume is the scent of the conifers, the pine, spruce and fir that blanket the slopes in enduring green. This is not a single smell, but a symphony of chemistry. On a warm day, the sun heats the resin in the needles and bark, releasing a cloud of volatile organic compounds known as pinene. This is the source of that sharp, clean, camphorous scent that feels like a balm to the mind. It is the smell of the forest thinking of photosynthesis happening on a monumental scale. Scientists believe that these compounds, known as phytoncides, do more than just scent the air. They are part of the tree's defense system, and when we inhale them, they can lower our stress hormones, reduce anxiety, and even boost our immune systems. To walk through a pine forest is to receive a gentle, invisible medicine, a calming therapy administered by the trees themselves. Beneath this dominant scent of pine lies a subtler, earthier foundation, the smell of the soil and the cycle of decay and rebirth. This is the fragrance of petrichor, the geosmin compound released by damp earth and activated stone after a rain shower. In the mountains, this scent is amplified. The rain washes over the lichen-covered rocks and the deep, spongy humus of the forest floor, a mat of decaying needles and moss that has accumulated for centuries. This smell is the scent of patience, of the slow, inevitable return of all things to the earth, only to nourish new life. It is a grounding, humbling aroma that connects us to the deep, biological rhythm of growth and return. As you climb higher, above the tree line, the perfume changes again. The biological scents of the forest fall away, and you are left with the primal smells of the mountain itself. Here, the air carries the faint metallic tang of ozone, especially before a storm, a scent as clean and sharp as a lightning strike. On the wind, you might detect the sterile, icy freshness of snow, a smell that is more of a sensation, a cooling of the nasal passages that signals absolute purity. On the most exposed ridges, the air smells of stone, of granite dust, and the sun-warmed rock that has baked in the thin atmosphere for 1 billion years. This is the smell of time, of mineral endurance, scent so simple and unadorned that it seems to clear the mind of all clutter. This mountain air is also physically different. It is thinner, holding less oxygen, which forces the body to slow down, to breathe more deeply and deliberately. This involuntary act of deep, mindful breathing is itself a form of meditation. Each deliberate inhalation draws in more of the calming pinene, the grounding petrichor, the clarifying ozone. Each exhalation feels like a release of the stagnant, recycled air of enclosed spaces, a letting go of the mental fog and noise of daily life. The very act of breathing here becomes a cleansing ritual, a gentle, rhythmic exchange with the vast, quiet world. There is a reason this air feels so pure.
It is, in a very real sense, washed.
It has been filtered by the dense forests, scrubbed by rainfall, and circulated by the powerful winds that sweep the high altitudes. It is far from the industrial particulates and pollutants of the lowlands. To breathe it is to participate in a system of natural perfection, to remember what the world smelled like before the age of smoke and industry.
It is a sensory homecoming. So, as you lie in the darkness, far from any mountain, you can summon this memory.
Imagine yourself standing on a high ridge. Take a slow, deep breath in through your nose and picture the cool, thin air flowing into you. Imagine you can detect the sharp, clean note of pine, clearing your thoughts. Then the earthy, comforting scent of damp soil after a rain, grounding you in your body. Finally, the sterile, crisp freshness of snow and stone, washing your mind clean of all worry. With each exhale, release the stuffy, heavy air of your day, the worries, the to-do lists, the mental static. Let it drift away on the alpine wind. Breathe in the purity. Breathe out the noise again and again. Let this rhythmic, mindful breathing become your anchor. The mountain air is not a distant memory. It is a state of mind you can access through the simple, sacred act of breath. Fill your lungs with its quiet clarity and let it carry you, light and untroubled, into a deep and restorative sleep. While our gaze is drawn upward to the soaring peaks and sweeping vistas, the mountain's true substance lies in a world of absolute darkness. Beneath the weight of billions of tons of rock, hidden from the sun and wind, exists a secret landscape as vast and complex as the one above. This is the realm of caves, aquifers, and labyrinthine fissures, a silent, inverted mountain whose slow, dripping rhythms tell a story of patient dissolution and hidden growth. To contemplate this subterranean world is to understand that the mountain is not a solid mass, but a porous, breathing entity hollowed out by the gentle, persistent hand of water. The primary architect of this hidden world is not fire or force, but the simple, universal solvent, water. Rainwater, slightly acidic from absorbing carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, percolates down through cracks and joints in the bedrock. When that bedrock is limestone, a magical transformation begins. The weak carbonic acid in the water slowly, inexorably dissolves the calcium carbonate of the stone. This is not a violent process. It is a molecular surrender, a grain-by-grain dismantling that happens over hundreds of thousands of years. A tiny crack becomes a fissure becomes a tunnel, and a tunnel expands into a cavern large enough to swallow cathedrals. The mountain is not being broken. It is being sculpted from the inside out, its hidden forms revealed by the patient persistence of a single drop of water. Repeated for eons within these lightless cathedrals, time is measured in the slow, echoing fall of water. A drip from the ceiling, saturated with dissolved minerals, meets the air of the cave and leaves behind an infinitesimal ring of calcite. Over centuries, this ring grows downward, forming a stone icicle known as a stalactite, clinging tightly to the ceiling. Where the drip lands on the floor, another deposit begins to build upward, a rising tower called a stalagmite. Their growth is a geological patience, often no more than a few centimeters every 1,000 years. In the deepest silence, these two forms reach for one another until they finally meet and fuse into a single, majestic pillar, a column that has taken 100 millennia to complete. These formations are the mountain's internal architecture, a crystalline artwork created in total darkness, never meant to be seen. This subterranean world is not devoid of life. It is home to creatures that have adapted to a world without light, a world of perpetual night and scarce resources. These are the troglobites, animals so specialized for cave life that they cannot survive outside of it. They are often pale, ghost-like, and eyeless, for in a world of eternal blackness, sight is useless. They navigate and hunt using heightened senses of touch, smell, and vibration. Delicate blind cavefish drift in underground rivers. Translucent spiders weave webs in the dark to catch unseen prey. Crickets with impossibly long antennae feel their way along damp walls. Their existence is a testament to life's relentless ingenuity, its ability to find a way in the most improbable of environments, thriving in a stillness so profound it feels like another planet. Beneath even these caves lies another, even more hidden world, the aquifer. This is not a lake in the conventional sense, but a vast, water-saturated zone within the permeable rock, a subterranean sponge holding the mountain's freshwater reserve. The water here moves with a glacial slowness, filtered to an impossible purity through countless layers of stone. This is the source of the clear, cold springs that burst from the mountain's base, feeding the rivers that water the plains below. The aquifer is the mountain's hidden heart, its circulatory system storing and slowly releasing the lifeblood of the landscape. It is a reminder that the most vital resources are often the ones we cannot see. To imagine this unseen world is to find a new kind of quiet. The silence of a deep cave is absolute. It is a silence so complete it has weight and pressure, a silence that absorbs sound, thought, and time itself. It is the antithesis of the noisy, sun-drenched world above. In this darkness there is no day or night. No weather, only a constant cool temperature in the slow, patient work of water and stone. So as you prepare for sleep, let your mind descend into this peaceful, hidden realm. Imagine the frantic noise of the day seeping down into the mountain, being absorbed and silenced by the deep, spongy rock. Feel your thoughts slowing, like water moving through a deep aquifer, being filtered and purified till only a clear, calm stillness remains. You are entering your own inner cavern, a place of perfect dark and perfect quiet, where the only sound is the occasional soothing drip of letting go. There are no demands here, no light, no need for sight. There is only the deep, reassuring solidity of the earth around you and the peaceful knowledge that beneath every struggle there is a foundation of immense, silent strength.
Rest in this darkness.
It is not empty. It is full of peace. Let the unseen world cradle you into the deepest of sleeps. There is a unique mountain that holds a secret fire in its heart. It does not spear the sky with a jagged, rocky peak, but often rises in a graceful, symmetrical cone, its slopes deceptively gentle. This is the volcano, and when it is dormant, it becomes one of the most profound symbols of quiet power on Earth. A sleeping volcano is a gentle giant, a reminder that immense energy can rest in a state of profound peace, that the potential for creation and destruction can coexist beneath a surface of serene stillness. The slumber of a volcano is not an emptiness, but a gathering. Deep beneath its tranquil surface, in a chamber miles below, a reservoir of magma, molten rock, gases, and crystals rests under immense pressure. This is not a violent, churning cauldron, but a slow, viscous world of incredible heat and density. The rock there is in a plastic, semi-solid state, moving with a patience that makes glacial flow seem frantic. This hidden heart still beats, but its rhythm is measured in centuries, not seconds. The mountain above is not dead. It is in a deep, meditative repose, conserving its ancient energy. The signs of this hidden life are subtle, gentle whispers from the deep. In the foothills of a sleeping volcano, one might find hot springs where groundwater, seeping deep into the earth, is warmed by the lingering thermal energy and rises back to the surface, creating pools of mineral-rich steaming water. The Earth itself breathes out fumaroles, vents that release plumes of water vapor and gases like carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide, a soft, constant exhalation. In some places, the ground itself is warm to the touch. These are not signs of impending doom, but rather the mountain's quiet, resting breath. They are the proof of the life that slumbers within, a geothermal lullaby that has been humming for thousands of years. The very form of a dormant volcano speaks of a peaceful past. Its slopes are often composed of layer upon layer of hardened lava and ash from eruptions long, long ago. With each eruption, the mountain built itself higher and then fell silent, allowing life to return. Soil formed from the weathered volcanic rock is among the most fertile on Earth. Over centuries, grasses, shrubs, and then entire forests have reclaimed the slopes, their roots weaving a tapestry of green over the mountain's fiery history. Villages and towns often nestle in its shadow, their inhabitants living in harmony with the giant, drawn by the beauty of the landscape and the richness of the soil. The mountain provides, protects, and watches over them, its destructive power a distant memory, softened by time. This state of dormancy can last for thousands, even hundreds of thousands of years. A sleeping volcano is a lesson in geological patience. It teaches us that power does not need to be constantly expressed. It can be stored, contained, and held in reserve. The mountain's stillness is not weakness. It is a disciplined, immense strength. It holds the memory of fire but chooses, for now, the path of quietude. Its potential energy is as real as any kinetic explosion, but it manifests as peace, as fertile land,
as warm springs, as a stable, beautiful presence on the horizon. There is a deep, reassuring comfort in the presence of a sleeping giant.
It embodies the idea that we too can hold great power, the power of emotion, of creativity, of passion, in a state of calm. We do not need to be constantly erupting, constantly expressing, constantly doing. Our energy can be stored, simmering quietly within us, providing a steady warmth and vitality without needing to explode outward. Our past eruptions, our moments of anger, passion, or great upheaval have, like volcanic ash, enriched the soil of our character, allowing new growth to take root. So as you rest tonight, imagine yourself as a dormant volcano. Feel the steady, warm energy of your own life force resting deep within your core. It is not restless, it is patient and powerful. Your breath is the gentle fumarole, the soft steam vent, a quiet release of what needs to be let go. The landscape of your mind is not barren. It is fertile and green, grown over the experiences of your past. There is no need for eruption, no need for dramatic release. Your power is in your peaceful presence, in your ability to be still and whole. Let the image of the gentle giant cradle you. Feel the strength in your own quiet repose. You are not inactive.
You are gathering.
You are not empty. You are full of a quiet, radiant energy that sustains you. Breathe deeply and feel the warm, steady hum of your own existence, a peaceful force resting in perfect balance. Sleep, and know that it is enough to simply be a gentle giant in the landscape of your own life. A mountain does not merely exist within the climate, it commands it. Rising as a colossal fortress of stone into the free-flowing rivers of the atmosphere, it forces the sky to obey its form. In doing so, it becomes a microcosm, a world unto itself with its own private winds, its own personal storms, and its own unique rainfall. The weather on a mountain is not a visitor from a distant forecast. It is a performance orchestrated by the mountain itself, a silent, powerful demonstration of how the earth shapes the very air we breathe. The entire process begins with a simple,
inescapable truth: the mountain is in the way.
when a large-scale weather system, a mass of warm, moisture-laden air, flows across a plain and meets the unyielding wall of a mountain range, it has no choice but to rise. This forced ascent is the first act in the mountain's meteorological play. As the air is lifted, it enters regions of successively lower atmospheric pressure. It expands, and in expanding it cools. This cooling is the key that unlocks the sky's hidden water. The warm air, which once held its moisture as an invisible vapor, now finds its capacity to do so diminished. The water vapor begins to condense around microscopic particles, dust, pollen, salt, forming countless tiny droplets that gather into the soft, billowing forms of clouds. This is how a mountain paints the sky, creating orographic clouds that cling to its windward flanks like a perpetual, shifting cloak. This cloud creation is not a passive event. It is the prelude to the mountain's most vital gift, rain. As the air continues to rise and cool, the tiny cloud droplets collide and coalesce, growing heavier and heavier until they can no longer be supported by the upward drafts. They begin to fall. What begins as a gentle mist can become a steady, soaking rain, nourishing the slopes below. This is why the windward side of a mountain range is often a lush, green world, a rainforest thriving in the constant, life-giving precipitation wrung from the sky by the stone giant. The mountain acts as a benevolent titan, harvesting water from the atmospheric rivers and bestowing it upon its own ecosystems. Yet for every action, there is a calm and sunny reaction. Once the air mass has crested the high peaks and begins its journey down the leeward slope, the process reverses. Now the air is descending. It compresses, and as it compresses, it warms. This warm, dry air can now hold more moisture, causing the clouds to evaporate, dissolving back into invisibility. The rain ceases and the skies clear. This phenomenon, known as the rain shadow effect, creates a stark and beautiful duality. One side of the mountain is a realm of mist, moss, and dripping green, while the other is a sun-drenched, arid landscape, a rain-shadow desert born from the mountain's immense rain-blocking presence. The mountain is a great stone gatekeeper, quietly deciding which lands shall be blessed with cloud and which shall bask in unbroken light. Beyond rain and shadow, mountains generate winds that are theirs alone. As the sun sets, the high slopes cool rapidly, chilling the air directly above them. This cold, dense air becomes heavier and begins to flow like an invisible river down the mountain's contours, pouring through valleys and canyons. This is a katabatic wind, a downhill flow that whispers through the night, a quiet, persistent exhalation of the cooling mountain. Conversely, after sunrise, the sun's rays strike the peaks first, warming the high-altitude air. This warm air rises, drawing cooler air up from the valleys below to replace it, creating an anabatic wind, the mountain's gentle, upward inhalation. These daily breath-like cycles are the mountain's private respiration, a slow and steady pulse independent of the weather systems far above. There is a profound tranquility in understanding this self-contained weather. The chaos of a continental storm system is tamed and given order, structure and purpose by the patient, unmoving mountain. It teaches us that we too can be a calming, shaping presence in the turbulence of our own lives. We can be the stable point around which the emotional and mental chaos finds its order, where frantic energy is transformed into nourishing rain or peaceful, clear skies. So as you rest, imagine yourself as a mountain peak. Feel the winds of thought, of worry, of the day's demands flowing toward you. You do not need to stop them or fear them. Simply let them rise up and over your steady, silent form. Watch as they cool and condense into the passing clouds of your mind, visible, tangible, but always temporary. Some may release a gentle rain of tears or release which is simply a natural cleansing. And as they pass over your summit, feel them dissolve in the warm, dry peace on the other side, leaving your inner sky clear, calm, and serene. You are the creator of your own inner climate. The mountain does not struggle against the wind. It uses it to create its own reality. You can do the same. Breathe in and draw in the calm. Breathe out and release the storms. Let the quiet power of the mountain's self-made weather lull you into a deep, peaceful state of rest, where you are both the calm and the creator. From the heart of the highest snowfield, from the deep, hidden springs within the rock, a single drop of water begins a journey that is both eternal and new. It is the first note in a liquid melody that will become a mountain stream, a timeless traveler whose song has echoed through the ages. This stream is more than water in motion. It is the voice of the mountain, a constant, gentle conversation between the heights and the lowlands, a flow that carves not only stone but also the very sound of peace itself. The stream's birth is one of quiet simplicity. It may begin as meltwater from a glacier's toe, a clear, cold bead trembling on ice, then joining others to form a braided trickle over polished stone. Or it may seep from a crack in the bedrock, the aquifer's slow exhalation finally seeing the light. At its source, the water is of an impossible purity, filtered through miles of stone and ice, carrying within it the very essence of the mountain's cold, silent heart. It is water that has never known the touch of industry, water that holds the memory of ancient snows and deep, dark reservoirs. As it gathers volume and purpose, the stream begins to sing. Its voice is a symphony of motion and obstacle. In its upper reaches, where the slope is steep, the stream is a white water torrent, tumbling over boulders and carving through narrow gorges. Here, its song is a roar of youthful energy, a percussive crash and gurgle of unrestrained power. The water churns with oxygen, sparkling in the thin air, polishing the stones it leaps over with a relentless, joyful energy. This part of the journey is about force and sculpture, as the stream etches its path into the mountain's flesh, carving the V-shaped valleys that will define the landscape for millennia. Further down, the slope gentles, and the stream's character transforms. The roaring adolescent becomes a contemplative adult. Its pace slows, its waters deepen from transparent to a deep emerald green. The channel widens and the stream begins to meander, flowing in soft, sinuous curves. Here, its song changes from a roar to a murmur, a soft, rhythmic rush over a bed of smooth, rounded pebbles. This is the sound of patient persistence. The stream is no longer cutting down. It is weaving, shaping its banks, depositing silt to create fertile meadows and undercutting its outer bends in a slow, graceful dance. Its sound is a lullaby, a constant, reassuring presence that has soothed countless creatures and human listeners for generations. The stream is never alone. It is the lifeblood of the mountain's middle slopes. Its cold, clear waters are a haven for trout that hold steady in the current, for insects that skitter on its surface, and for the roots of alder and willow that drink deeply from its banks. Dippers, remarkable birds, walk its very bed, foraging beneath the surface. The stream nourishes an entire corridor of life, a vibrant, linear oasis woven through the forest. It is a bringer of life, a connector of ecosystems, and its journey is shared by every living thing that depends upon its flow. Ultimately, the stream must leave the mountain. It joins with other streams to become a river, its identity merging into a larger whole, its journey now directed toward the distant sea. But even as it departs, it carries the mountain with it. Every particle of silt, every dissolved mineral, every grain of rock flour in its milky waters is a piece of the mountain itself, being patiently delivered to the oceans, where it may one day form new land. The stream is the mountain's messenger, its agent of erosion and renewal, the cycle of the planet made liquid and visible. There is a deep, hypnotic peace in the sound and sight of a mountain stream. Its endless flow is a meditation on constancy and change. The water is always moving, always new, yet the stream itself is a permanent feature. It is a lesson in letting go, in flowing with the path of least resistance while still possessing the power to shape the world. Its song drowns out the noise of trivial worries, replacing them with a rhythm that is as old as the hills it drains. So as you drift towards sleep, imagine the journey of this timeless stream.
Picture your thoughts not as static, stuck things, but as water.
Let them flow. Feel the frantic, jumbled thoughts of the day become like the turbulent headwaters, tumbling and crashing, but moving, always moving. As you breathe, feel them smooth out, becoming the deeper, slower, meandering flow of the middle stream. There is no need to hold on to them. Like water, they are meant to pass through you, to shape you, and to move on. Listen for the sound of that inner stream, a soft, distant rush, a gentle murmur of release. With every exhale, let a worry, a tension, a memory be carried away by the current. You are not the stones in the stream being worn down. You are the stream itself, ever-changing, ever-renewing, always finding your way. Let the timeless journey of the water carry you away from the solid, stubborn edges of the day and into the fluid, peaceful realm of dreams where everything flows. Everything is connected and everything in its own time finds its way to the sea. High on a mountain shoulder, where the air is thin and the world below has dissolved into a sea of darkness, the true ceiling of the world is revealed. Far from the glow of cities, the night sky is not a mere scattering of stars, but a profound, velvety blackness ablaze with countless points of diamond light. Here, at the roof of the world, the constellations are not distant pictures. They are close, brilliant, and breathtakingly clear, telling stories that have guided travelers and dreamers since the dawn of human consciousness. To lie beneath this celestial canopy is to feel the immense, quiet scale of the universe and find a deep, humbling peace. The first thing one notices is the sheer depth of the darkness. The mountain peak, having risen above the lower atmosphere's haze and water vapor, places you in a position of unparalleled clarity. The black between the stars is not empty. It is a deep, rich void that seems to swallow sound and thought, making the stars themselves appear not as flat pinpricks, but as points of light suspended at vastly different distances. This stereoscopic effect creates a sense of incredible, tangible space, a cosmic ocean in which the mountain is a solitary island and you, a quiet observer on its shore. In this pristine environment, the familiar constellations are reborn. Orion the Hunter no longer seems a faint sketch, but a brilliant, commanding presence. The 3 stars of his belt are a perfect, glittering line. Betelgeuse on his shoulder glows with a distinct, fiery amber, and Rigel on his foot shines with an icy, blue-white intensity. The Great Bear, Ursa Major, wheels overhead with a grandeur that feels both ancient and immediate. The Milky Way, our galactic home, is no longer a faint smudge, but a raging river of powdered light, a cloud of countless suns so dense they merge into a soft, luminous fog split by dark, mysterious rifts of interstellar dust. It is a sight that does not feel like looking up, but like looking out into an infinite, star-dusted expanse. This clarity is not just visual, it is a feeling of connection. For millennia, humans have used these same unchanging patterns for navigation. The steady North Star, Polaris, around which the entire northern sky appears to slowly pivot, has guided countless souls across trackless seas and deserts. To see it, sharp and unwavering, directly over a mountain peak, is to feel a link to all those travelers, to all the hopes and journeys that have been steered by its constant light. The mountain becomes a natural observatory, a platform from which to partake in this ancient, human ritual of looking up and finding one's way. Beyond navigation, the stars offer a lesson in profound patience. The light from even the closest star has traveled for years to reach your eyes. The light from the Andromeda galaxy, a faint, fuzzy patch visible to the naked eye from a dark mountain site, began its journey over 2.5 million years ago. You are seeing it not as it is, but as it was when early humans were first walking the Earth. This is not a history lesson in a book. It is a direct visual connection to the deep past. The starlight falling on the mountain peak tonight is ancient, a timeless energy that has crossed the incomprehensible void to gently arrive here, now, for you to witness. There is a silence that accompanies this stellar spectacle, a silence so complete it has a texture. It is not the absence of sound, but the presence of something greater, cosmic quiet, the faint whisper of the wind against the rocks, the sound of your own breath. These only serve to accentuate the immense, soundless symphony of light playing out overhead. In this silence, under this canopy of ancient fire, the small worries of the day, the fleeting anxieties of a human life, seem to shrink to their true microscopic scale. You are a living being on a small rock, orbiting one of those billions of stars, looking out at the rest. It is not a feeling of insignificance, but of belonging. You are part of this vast, beautiful, and orderly system. So as you lie in the comfort of your bed, far from the thin, cold air of the peaks, you can still summon this celestial peace. Close your eyes and imagine yourself on a soft bed of alpine grass, your back supported by the solid, ancient mountain. Above you, picture the infinite black velvet of space, and upon it, the brilliant, untwinkling stars. Find Orion. Find the steady North Star. See the Milky Way arching from one horizon to the other, a soft, cosmic bridge. With each breath, imagine you are breathing in this starlight, cool, clear, and ancient. Feel it filling you with a sense of cosmic perspective and timeless calm. With each exhale, release any tension, any worry, any noise, letting it dissipate into the vast, accepting darkness between the stars. You are connected to a universe of majestic order and serene beauty. Your life, your breath, is a part of this grand celestial dance. Rest now, cradled by the mountain and watched over by the eternal constellations. Let their ancient, silent light be the lullaby that guides you into a deep and dreamless sleep, secure in the knowledge that you are a small but integral part of something infinitely vast and wondrous. Nestled in a high saddle between peaks, cradled in the lap of giants, lies a world of gentle softness. This is the alpine meadow, a place where the mountain's harsh edges are softened and its stern voice drops to a whisper. Here, the wind is tempered, the sun is filtered, and the earth lays down a living blanket woven from 1,000 different greens, dotted with the confetti of wildflowers. To step into a mountain meadow is to enter a sanctuary of sensory peace, a hidden room in the vast stone castle of the peaks, dedicated entirely to quiet growth and delicate beauty. This softness is first felt underfoot. The soil is not hard rock, but a deep, spongy mat of humus built over centuries from the decay of countless generations of plants. It is a living substance, thick with mosses, lichens, and a dense weave of grass roots that hold the earth together in a resilient, springy carpet. With every step, the ground yields gently, absorbing sound and impact, creating a sensation of walking on a natural mattress. This is the meadow's foundation, a testament to the power of accumulation of life building upon itself to create a buffer against the hard reality of the stone beneath. Above this soft floor rises a tapestry of color and form, a quiet riot of life that has mastered the art of brevity. The growing season here is short, a frantic, beautiful burst of energy between the thaw and the first snows. The plants do not have the luxury of growing tall and woody. They must bloom, be pollinated, and set seed in a matter of weeks. This urgency creates an incredible density of life. Delicate wildflowers, blue lupines, red paintbrush, white bistort, and yellow arnica grow in dense clusters, creating a mosaic of color that seems almost painted onto the landscape. They grow low to the ground, huddling together for warmth and protection from the wind. There forms a lesson in efficiency and community. Their scent is not a single perfume, but a complex, subtle bouquet. The sweet fragrance of phlox, the spicy note of sage, the clean, dry smell of warmed grass. The air in the meadow has a unique quality. It is stiller than on the exposed ridges, trapped and calmed by the surrounding slopes. The light is different too. It seems to glow, diffused by the millions of tiny leaves and petals, casting a soft, dappled shade. Here, the sounds of the mountain are muted. The distant roar of a stream becomes a gentle murmur. The constant wind is broken into a soft, sighing breeze that rustles the grass heads with a sound like a quiet whisper. This is the realm of the bee's drowsy hum, the chirp of a hidden cricket, the soft call of a ground-nesting bird. It is a symphony of subtlety, a lullaby composed of the smallest, most peaceful sounds in nature. This meadow is not an accident, it is an achievement. It is a fragile, hard-won equilibrium between the harshness of the altitude and the tenacity of life. The deep soil retains precious moisture from the melting snow. The dense plant cover regulates the temperature of the ground, keeping the roots of its community safe from frost and scorching sun. Every plant, from the tallest sunflower to the smallest moss, plays a part in maintaining this delicate balance. It is a cooperative society, a testament to the idea that life thrives not through competition alone, but through mutual support and the shared goal of survival. To rest in a mountain meadow is to experience a deep, cellular sense of peace. It is a place that invites you to lie down, to feel the soft earth conform to your body, to watch the clouds drift slowly between the peaks, and to let the gentle sounds and scents wash over you. There is no need for anything but to be present. The meadow asks for nothing and gives everything, a sense of being held, of being safe, of being a part of a beautiful, quiet, and temporary world. So as you settle into sleep tonight, imagine yourself lying in this softest of mountain sanctuaries. Feel your body sinking into the deep, spongy turf, fully supported and cushioned. Picture the gentle slopes rising around you, protecting you, creating a sacred bowl of stillness. Breathe in the subtle, sweet fragrance of alpine flowers and sun-warmed grass. Listen to the soft, whispering breeze and the distant, soothing mumble of a stream. Let this imagined meadow become your inner landscape. Let your thoughts become like the wildflowers, numerous perhaps, but each one beautiful and fleeting, not meant to be clung to, but simply appreciated as part of a greater, peaceful whole. Feel your worries sink down into the deep, absorbent soil of your mind, where they are composted into quietness. You are in a place of ultimate softness, both around you and within you. There is no hardness here, no sharp edges, only gentle acceptance and restorative peace. Rest now, wrapped in the soft blanket of the mountain meadow, and allow its profound tranquility to carry you into a deep, nurturing, and dream-filled sleep. There is a silence that exists beyond the mere absence of sound. It is a presence, a substance, a tangible element that fills space with a weightless, perfect stillness. This is the silence of a snow-covered peak in the heart of winter. After the winds have settled and the last avalanche has echoed into the distance, a profound quiet descends, so deep and complete it feels like the mountain itself is holding its breath. This is not an empty silence, but a full one. a sensory experience that washes over the soul, muffling the internal noise of a busy mind and offering a peace that is as pure as the driven snow. The snow itself is the architect of this silence. Billions upon billions of intricate, six-sided crystals form a soft, porous blanket that drapes over every contour of the mountain. This blanket is a natural acoustic absorber. It does not reflect sound like hard rock or the walls of a city.
It swallows it.
The crunch of a boot, the call of a bird, the rustle of clothing, all are dampened, their sharp edges softened, their volume reduced to a faint, intimate whisper. The world becomes muted, as if someone has turned down the volume on reality itself. In this hushed world, the only thing you can hear with clarity is the sound of your own heartbeat and the soft rush of your own breath. Rhythms that now seem to sync with the slow, patient pulse of the mountain. This external quiet has a direct and immediate effect on the internal landscape. The constant low-grade hum of mental chatter, the to-do lists, the replayed conversations, the anxieties about the future, seems to lose its footing. There is nothing in the outside world to feed it, no noise to resonate with. The immense white stillness outside begins to seep inward, calming the turbulent waters of the mind. Thoughts, once loud and demanding, become like single snowflakes, drifting gently and settling without a sound. The mind, stripped of its usual distractions, is free to simply be, to expand into the spaciousness of the moment. It is a form of meditation enforced by nature, a forced mindfulness that is both humbling and deeply liberating. This snowy silence is also a great equalizer. It smooths over the rugged details of the mountain, hiding crevasses, rounding sharp ridges and filling in rocky gullies. The complex, demanding face of the summer mountain is simplified into a series of soft, gentle curves and vast, unbroken slopes of white. This visual simplicity contributes to the sense of peace. There are no sharp edges for the eye to catch on, no distractions, only a clean, minimalist landscape that invites a quiet, unfocused gaze. The world is reduced to its most elemental forms, the white of the snow, the blue of the sky, the dark green of a distant lower forest, and the grey of the few exposed rocks. This visual rest is as soothing to the eyes as the silence is to the ears. To stand in this environment is to feel a connection to a more primordial earth. This is the silence that existed before life, the quiet of a world of ice and stone. It is a reminder of the planet's enduring cycles, of the long, cold winters that have shaped its history. The mountain, in its snowy mantle, seems more ancient, more eternal than ever. It is a sleeping giant conserving its energy, waiting patiently for the sun's return. There is no urgency here, only a profound, patient waiting. This timeless quality is deeply calming. It assures you that not everything needs to be in motion, that there is a sacredness in rest, in dormancy, in the quiet consolidation of strength. So, as you prepare for sleep, imagine yourself standing on a vast, snow-covered summit under a clear, starry sky. The air is cold and still. All around you is an unbroken expanse of white, softening every edge of the world. Listen to the deep enveloping silence. Notice how it absorbs the small sounds of your room, how it creates a bubble of perfect peace around you. Now turn this silence inward. Imagine a soft, gentle snow beginning to fall within your own mind. Watch as each snowflake, a worry, a thought, a memory, drifts down slowly, landing without a sound. Each one is acknowledged, then gently covered by the next. One by one they settle, until the frantic, rocky landscape of your thoughts is smoothed over into a serene, unbroken plain of white. The noise is gone. The chaos is stilled. All that remains is a deep, clean, and peaceful quiet. Breathe into this inner silence. Let it fill you from the tips of your toes to the top of your head. You are now the snow-covered peak, calm, silent and majestic in your rest. There is nothing to do, nowhere to be, nothing to solve. Your only task is to exist in this perfect, peaceful stillness. Let the deep silence of the mountain cradle you and carry you effortlessly into the quiet depths of sleep. Beneath the apparent stillness of the mightiest mountain range lies a reality of constant, colossal motion. The peaks that seem so eternal and fixed are, in truth, participants in the slowest, most powerful dance on the planet, the dance of tectonic plates. This is a ballet measured in centimeters per year, a performance where the choreography lasts for hundreds of millions of years, and the stage is the entire Earth itself. To contemplate this deep, planetary movement is to understand that the mountain's greatest strength is not in its stillness, but in its participation in this ancient, unstoppable rhythm. The dancers in this ballet are the plates themselves, vast, rigid segments of the Earth's lithosphere that float upon the hot, semi-fluid asthenosphere below. They are the broken shell of a colossal egg, adrift on a mantle of slow-moving rock. Some plates carry entire continents on their backs. Others form the deep, basaltic floors of the oceans. Their movements are driven by the Earth's internal engine, the heat left over from its formation, and the continuous decay of radioactive elements. This heat generates massive convection currents in the mantle, and like a pot of soup simmering on a stove, these currents slowly drag the plates across the globe. The most dramatic moments in this dance occur at the plate boundaries. When two plates move away from each other, magma wells up from the mantle to create new crust, building undersea mountain ranges known as mid-ocean ridges. But for the creation of the mountains we see, the most profound boundary is the convergent one, where two plates move toward each other. It is here that the Earth folds, fractures, and rises. When two continental plates meet, neither can be easily subducted or forced downward. Instead, they collide. It is a slow-motion, irresistible force meeting an immovable object. The crust crumples, folds, and thickens, pushing vast sections of rock skyward. The Himalayas, the tallest range on Earth, are the direct result of the ongoing collision between the Indian subcontinent and the Eurasian plate, a process that began tens of millions of years ago and continues to this day, pushing the peaks a little higher with each passing year. This dance is not a smooth, graceful glide. It is a halting, stuttering movement, full of tension and release. The plates do not slide past one another easily. They lock, storing immense elastic energy as the forces continue to build. For decades or even centuries, the landscape above may appear perfectly still, but the pressure is mounting. Then, in a matter of seconds, the locked rocks can no longer hold. They fracture and slip, releasing all that stored energy in a violent shudder, an earthquake. The ground shakes, the mountain trembles, and the land is permanently altered. An earthquake is not an interruption of the dance. It is a part of its rhythm, a sudden, explosive step in the otherwise patient choreography. The mountain range grows not in a smooth, continuous ascent, but in a series of fits and starts, each quake a testament to the unimaginable forces at work deep below. There is a profound, humbling peace in this perspective. The majestic, timeless mountain is revealed not as a static monument, but as a dynamic, living entity, still being born. Its existence is a fleeting moment in the Earth's long history. The Appalachians, now worn to gentle rolling hills, were once as tall and jagged as the Himalayas, their own tectonic dance having concluded long ago. Every mountain range has its time to rise, to stand in grandeur, and to eventually be worn down by the elements, its material recycled to form new lands. This is the great planetary cycle of destruction and creation, where the end of one range is the beginning of another. To internalize this slow dance is to find a new kind of calm. It puts our human-scale anxieties into a context of deep time. Our worries, our struggles, Our moments of tension and release are like microcosmic earthquakes in our personal lives. They are part of our growth, the necessary adjustments and shifts that shape our character. Just as the mountain endures the slow build-up of pressure and the sudden jolt of the quake, we too can learn to hold tension with patience and meet sudden change with resilience, knowing that both are part of a larger process of becoming. So,
as you rest, imagine yourself as a part of this great
planetary dance. Feel the solid ground beneath you not as inert and dead, but as alive with slow, purposeful motion. Let your breath become the rhythm of this dance, a slow, steady inhalation as the plates press together and the mountains rise. A gentle exhale as the tension is released and the land settles. Your own life is a part of this same cosmic rhythm. The pressures you feel are not meant to break you, but to shape you, to push you to new heights. The sudden shifts are not chaos, but a necessary realignment. Breathe and feel the slow, sure movement of deep time. There is no rush. The most magnificent landscapes were not built in a day, but over countless patient seasons of geological time. Allow the slow dance of the continents to lull you into a state of deep acceptance and peace. You are not separate from this dance.
You are a part of it.
Rest now, cradled by the moving earth, and drift into a sleep as deep and timeless as the dance itself. Between the arms of great mountains lies a sanctuary of sound, a place where the air itself seems to be shaped for listening. This is the valley, nature's own amphitheater, where noise is not merely heard, but transformed. The sharp crack of a falling stone, the call of a distant bird, the rush of a hidden stream, all are softened, stretched, and woven into a gentle tapestry of echo and resonance. This is not the deep silence of the peak, but a living, breathing quiet, filled with a lullaby composed by the landscape itself, a symphony of soft repetitions that soothes the soul into a state of deep calm. The valley is an acoustic instrument, meticulously carved by ice and water. Its steep, rocky walls act as perfect sound reflectors, while its soft, forested floor and often U-shaped base absorb and muffle. When a sound is born here, the chirp of a cricket, the sigh of the wind through a pine bough, it does not simply travel in a straight line and vanish. It is cast upward, bouncing from one rock face to another, each repetition slightly softer, slightly more diffuse than the last.
A single note becomes a chord. A solitary call becomes a conversation with the mountain.
This is the valley's echo, not the sharp, mocking shout of a canyon, but a gentle, fading whisper, as if the mountain is thoughtfully repeating the sound to better understand its meaning. The most constant musician in this amphitheater is water. A mountain stream tumbling over rocks creates a perpetual, low-frequency rush, a sound known as pink noise. Scientists have found that this specific, steady sound spectrum is remarkably effective at masking more jarring, irregular noises. It is nature's version of a white noise machine, drowning out the sudden cracks and snaps that can trigger a startle response in the brain. The constant, unchanging murmur of the stream acts as an auditory blanket, wrapping the valley in a layer of predictable, non-threatening sound. It tells the primal parts of our mind that all is well, that the environment is stable, and that it is safe to rest. Above this foundational hum, the wind composes its own melodies. As it flows over the rim of the valley and down into its depths, it interacts with every object in its path. It whistles softly through the fissures in a cliff face, creating a single, sustained note. It rustles the leaves of aspen trees, producing a sound like gentle rainfall. When it passes through the needles of a pine forest, it creates a deeper, more resonant sigh, a breathy exhalation that seems to carry the wisdom of the ages. These are not the howling gales of the summit, but curated breezes, their edges smoothed by the trees and the contours of the land. They are the valley's breath, a rhythmic in and out that invites our own breathing to slow and match its pace. And then there are the inhabitants. The high, clear call of a bird does not simply end. It ripples across the space, answered not by another bird, but by the mountain itself. The drone of bees foraging in a meadow is amplified and contained by the bowl of the valley, becoming a soft, vibrational hum that you can feel as much as hear. Even the occasional distant rockfall is transformed from a threat into a spectacle of sound, an initial crack that unfolds into a long, rumbling cascade of echoes like rolling thunder that eventually dissipates into a peaceful quiet, somehow deeper for having been broken. This soundscape is the antithesis of the chaotic noise of modern life. There are no sudden horns, no fragmented conversations, no mechanical shrieks. Instead, the valley offers a world of predictable, natural and non-linear sounds that have been shown to lower cortisol levels, slow the heart rate, and encourage the brain waves associated with relaxation and sleep. It is a place where sound does not assault the senses, but gently washes over them, wearing away tension with the same patient persistence that water wears away stone. So,
as you lie in the darkness, you can summon this natural lullaby.
close your eyes and imagine yourself nestled in the very heart of a gentle, U-shaped valley. The massive protective slopes rise on either side of you. Now listen, first, tune into the low, steady, rushing sound of a distant stream. Let this pink noise become the foundation of your inner soundscape, masking any distracting noises in your environment. Next, hear the soft sigh of the wind as it moves through a stand of pine trees, a rhythmic whisper that encourages your breath to become slow and deep. Finally, notice the occasional soft echo, a faint bird call that repeats once, then twice, each time softer,
until it blends back into the stillness. Let these sounds, the rush,
the sigh, the echo, weave together into your personal lullaby. With every repetition, feel yourself sinking deeper into relaxation. The echoes are carrying your thoughts away, dispersing them into the vast, accepting space of the valley. There is nothing to hold on to, nothing to decipher. You are simply listening. And in that act of pure reception, the mind finally lets go. Allow the gentle acoustics of the mountain valley to cradle you. You are safe, you are surrounded, and you are being sung to sleep by the oldest, most peaceful sounds on earth. Drift now on the echoes into a deep and restorative rest. As the sun dips below the high peaks, painting the snow in shades of rose and violet, a profound transformation sweeps across the mountain. The world of day, of soaring eagles and basking marmots, retreats, and a new, more secretive world awakens. This is the threshold time, the crepuscular hour, when the light is soft and the boundaries between day and night blur. It is a time of quiet transition, of silent greetings and farewells,
as the mountain's inhabitants perform their ancient twilight rituals.
a hidden ballet of survival and solitude that offers a deep, soothing lesson in the natural rhythm of beginnings and endings. The first to stir are those who have waited out the day in cool, dark dens. A shadow detaches itself from the base of a boulder, resolving into the sleek, low-slung form of a pine marten. It stretches, a fluid ripple of muscle and fur, its eyes gleaming with sharp intelligence in the fading light. It is a creature of the in-between, equally at home in the trees and on the ground, and its day is just beginning. It moves with a silent, purposeful grace, a ghost flitting through the subalpine firs, beginning its nightly patrol for voles and sleeping birds. Its life is one of focused, solitary purpose, a reminder that some strengths lie in quiet, independent action. High on a rocky outcrop, A pair of amber eyes catches the last of the light. A bobcat, having spent the day drowsing in a hidden crevice, rises and surveys its kingdom. It does not rush.
It is a creature of immense patience.
It sits for long minutes, still as the stone beneath its paws, listening and watching. Every twitch of a leaf, every faint scuffle in the undergrowth is noted. Its world is one of subtle sounds and scents, a language we can scarcely perceive. Then with a single, powerful and silent bound, it melts into the gathering gloom, a phantom on the hunt. Its existence is a lesson in the power of stillness and the effectiveness of precise, deliberate movement. While some wake to hunt, others are settling in for the night. In the tall trees, a family of northern flying squirrels begins to stir in their nest hollow. As full darkness approaches, they will launch themselves into the void, using the skin flaps between their legs to glide silently from tree to tree in search of nuts and fungi. But for now, in the soft twilight, they are quiet, grooming each other's fur with tiny, meticulous paws, a soft social ritual that strengthens their bonds. Their secret lives are built on community and trust, a delicate social structure thriving in the high, dark canopy. Meanwhile, the day shift is clocking out. The pika, a small, industrious relative of the rabbit, makes its final forays from its haystack, a carefully dried pile of grasses it has gathered to see it through the long winter. Its sharp, eeping call echoes between the rocks, a final check-in with its neighbors before it retreats into the labyrinth beneath the talus slope for the night. The yellow-bellied marmot, having spent the day sunbathing and grazing, gives a final sharp whistle of alarm at the sight of the prowling marten before ducking into the safety of its deep, intricate burrow. The mountain is handing over its watch, a changing of the guard as old as the hills themselves. This twilight world is governed not by sight but by sound and scent. The air grows cool and heavy with the perfume of damp earth and night-blooming flowers. The chorus of daybirds, the finches and juncos, fades away, replaced by the soft, rhythmic hooting of a great horned owl, claiming its territory, and the faint, high-pitched chirping of bats echolocating in the sky above. It is a sensory shift, a transition from a world dominated by the visual to one ruled by the auditory and the olfactory, a more intimate and primal way of experiencing the environment. There is a profound peace in witnessing.
Even just in our imagination, this secret shift.
It is a world without pretense, where every action is essential and pure. There is no wasted energy, only the graceful, timeless dance of survival. The anxiety of the day animal gives way to the focused calm of the night hunter. The bustling community of the daylight retreats, making space for the solitary, introspective lives of the dark as you settle into your own rest. Imagine this gentle transition occurring within you. Let the busy, social, sunlit thoughts of your day, the pika's frantic calls, the marmot's basking, gently retreat into their burrows. Feel the more solitary, intuitive, and quiet parts of your spirit begin to awaken. The sleek marten of your intuition, the patient bobcat of your inner wisdom. Listen to the soft sounds of your own inner twilight. Let the sharp edges of your day blur and soften. There is no need to hunt or be hunted anymore. The day work is done. Now is the time for a different kind of awareness, a receptive, quiet presence. Allow yourself to become a part of this ancient, nocturnal rhythm. The secret lives of the mountain animals are not separate from your own. They are a reflection of the natural cycles within you, the need for both community and solitude, for both action and rest. Breathe in the cool, calming air of the mountain dusk. Breathe out the last remnants of the day's warmth. You are safe. The world is transitioning, and you are transitioning with it. Let the quiet, purposeful energy of the twilight creatures guide you from waking into dreaming, from doing into being. Drift into the soft, welcoming darkness and rest. Upon the ancient grey canvas of mountain stone, life paints in the most patient and subtle of hues. It does not use bold strokes of green or vibrant splashes of flower, but instead applies a soft, slow-growing patina, a living film of lichen and moss that clings to boulders, drapes over gnarled tree branches, and carpets the forest floor in silence. These are not individual plants in the way we commonly think of them, but rather quiet, cooperative societies that embody the mountain's deepest virtues: patience, symbiosis, and the profound ability to thrive on almost nothing. To contemplate them is to understand a time scale so stretched and a pace so slow. It can quiet the most restless of hearts. Lichen is not one organism, but two, or sometimes three, living in such intimate harmony that they become a single, new being. A fungus provides the structure, a sturdy shelter of tiny filaments that can grip the bare rock. Within this shelter lives an alga, or a cyanobacterium, a captive sun worshipper that harvests energy through photosynthesis, creating food from light and air. Together, this partnership becomes a pioneer, one of the first forms of life to colonize bare, sterile stone. It needs no soil, only time. It begins the work of creation, slowly, imperceptibly, secreting acids that dissolve the rock, grain by minuscule grain, initiating the multi-millennia process of turning stone into soil. A lichen is a quiet revolution, a testament to the power of collaboration over competition. Their growth is a form of geological patience. A lichen the size of a coin may be decades, even centuries old. They measure their expansion in millimeters per year, their circular forms slowly spreading across the rock face like a slow-motion spill. They are the mountain's clock, their presence and size a rough measure of the time a stone has been exposed and still. In their quiet, unassuming way, they are among the oldest living things on the mountain, silent witnesses to centuries of sun and storm. To rush a lichen is an impossibility. It exists in a time scale that humbles human haste, teaching that some of the most important work is done not in a flash, but in a whisper over lifetimes. Where the lichens pave the way, the mosses often follow. If lichen is the pioneer, moss is the settler, building upon the work of its predecessor. Mosses are simple plants, but they are master engineers of moisture and miniature. They possess no true roots. Instead, they absorb water and nutrients directly through their tiny leaves from the rain and the air. They grow in dense, spongy colonies, creating a moist, sheltered microhabitat that retains water long after a rain has passed. This creates a reservoir for the mountain, a living sponge that regulates moisture and prevents erosion. Walking on a deep bed of moss is like walking on a firm yet yielding cloud, a sensation that absorbs sound and step alike, contributing to the deep quiet of the mountain forest. Together, lichen and moss perform a silent alchemy. They are the primary agents in the transformation of rock into life. The dust they create from the stone, mixed with their own decaying bodies over generations, becomes the first thin soil. In the sheltered crevices they create, a stray pine needle lodges, then a seed. A tiny flower may one day take root in the pocket of earth they forged. They build the foundation for entire ecosystems, yet they ask for nothing in return but a surface to cling to and the slow, patient passage of time. They are the ultimate minimalists, thriving on air, light, and the barest sustenance from rain, proving that abundance is not about having more, but about needing less. There is a deep, untroubled peace in their presence. They do not strive for the sun like the tall trees. They do not compete for space. They simply are. They cover the bones of the mountain in a soft, living blanket, smoothing its hard edges, muffling its sounds, and painting its grey stone in shades of silver-green, gold, and deep emerald. They are the mountain's softening, a visual and tactile representation of time's gentle hand. So, as you rest, Imagine this gentle patina spreading within you. Let your thoughts be like the bare, hard stone of the mountain. Now picture the soft, slow-growing lichen of peace beginning to form upon them. It does not erase the stone. It softens it, embraces it, and begins a quiet, patient transformation. Your worries, your fears, your regrets. These are the ancient rocks. Let the moss of acceptance grow over them, creating a soft, spongy layer that absorbs their sharpness and retains a calming moisture of tranquility. Breathe and feel this softness spreading. There is no need to force anything, no need for rapid growth. The most profound changes happen at the speed of moss. Your journey's not always about climbing higher or moving faster. Sometimes it is about being still and allowing a quiet, symbiotic peace to take hold, transforming your inner landscape from one of hard, barren worry to one of soft, fertile calm. You are both the stone and the moss. You are the stable, enduring foundation, and you are the gentle, living layer that brings softness and life. Rest in this duality. Let the patina of time soothe your spirit and allow yourself to simply be, growing slowly and peacefully in the quiet darkness, until you are covered in a deep, restorative peace. High above the sleeping world, the mountain peaks hold a unique covenant with the sun. They are the first to greet the dawn and the last to surrender to the night. While the valleys below are still drowned in deep blue shadow, the highest summits are already ablaze with the soft, rosy fire of alpine glow. And as evening falls, when the lowlands have long been swallowed by darkness, these same peaks remain, glowing like dying embers against a violet sky. This daily ritual is more than a spectacle of beauty. It is a silent sermon on perspective, a reminder that even in darkness, light persists somewhere, and that every ending is merely a prelude to a new beginning. The day begins not with a sunrise, but with a subtle awakening of the sky. In the deep pre-dawn blue, the stars begin to fade, and a thin, razor-sharp line of the horizon hints at the fire to come. Then the magic begins. The highest peak, often miles ahead of anything else, is touched by a light that is not yet direct sunlight. This is the alpine glow, a phenomenon where the sun, still hidden below the horizon, illuminates the peak with indirect, refracted light. The mountain is painted in impossible shades of pink, orange, and soft purple, an ethereal vision that seems to belong more to the dream world than the waking one. It is a private, silent gift, a moment of pure, unearned beauty, bestowed upon the heights before the business of the day begins. To witness this from a valley is to understand the concept of hope made visible. You stand in cold shadow, yet you can see the light triumphantly claiming the summit. It is a tangible promise that the sun is coming, that the darkness is temporary. The mountain, in its elevated state, becomes a herald of the dawn, a silent assurance that no night lasts forever. Its illuminated peak is a beacon not of guidance to a place, but of guidance to a state of mind, one of patience and faith in the cycles of light and dark. Throughout the day, the summit exists in a realm of unparalleled clarity. It is bathed in a light that is unfiltered, intense, and pure. Up here, there are no shadows cast by other mountains, no obstructions. The sun rules absolutely. This is a light of revelation, exposing every detail of the rock, every crevasse in a distant glacier. It is a light that demands honesty, that washes away ambiguity. It represents moments of peak awareness and understanding in our own lives, when everything seems clear and our path is illuminated with brilliant certainty. As the day wanes, the process reverses. The sun dips below the western horizon, and the long shadows of the world creep upward, engulfing forests, then meadows, then lakes. But the summit remains, stubbornly holding on to the day. It catches the last long rays of the sun glowing with a warm golden light while the world below is plunged into twilight. This is the evening alpenglow, a more somber, yet equally beautiful counterpart to the dawn. The light is softer, more forgiving, as if the sun is saying a slow, fond farewell. It is a light of completion, of a day fully lived, of work done and rest earned. Finally, the last sliver of light vanishes from the highest rock. But even then, the mountain's dialogue with the cosmos is not over. It now becomes a perfect pedestal for the stars, a dark silhouette against a glittering tapestry, its form a reminder of the solid, enduring earth beneath the fleeting dance of the heavens. This daily cycle is a profound metaphor for resilience and perspective. The mountain does not fear the shadow. It knows it is a part of its existence. It endures the long, cold night with the same steadfastness it enjoys the brilliant day. It teaches us that our own summits, our highest aspirations, our core strengths, can be the first to catch the light of a new idea, a new hope, a new beginning. And in our darkest times, these same summits can be the last to hold on to our inner light, our dignity and our hope, even when everything around us seems dark. So, as you lie in the darkness of your room, imagine this cycle. Feel the cool blue shadows of the valley of sleep beginning to envelop you. But then picture your highest self as a mountain summit. See it catching the first gentle, rosy light of a deep and restorative peace. This is not the harsh light of wakefulness, but the soft, assuring glow of rest. Hold on to this image of your illuminated summit, glowing peacefully in the vast darkness. It is your enduring spirit, your quiet strength. The night is not a threat to it. It is its canvas. Let this final gentle light be the last thing you see behind your eyes.
You are both the valley sinking into restful shadow and the summit forever holding the promise of light.
Breathe in the cool air of the night and breathe out, releasing the day. The mountain is at peace with the cycle, and so too can you be. Rest now in the certainty that light will always return, and until it does, you possess an inner summit that glows with a quiet, unwavering peace. And so our gentle journey through the high places comes to a close, not as an ending, but as a returning. We have wandered from the deep, fiery breath of their creation to their slow, graceful surrender, from the silent language of their stones to the constellations that crown their peaks. We have seen how they sculpt the sky, cradle secret life, and give their water to the world. And through it all, a single, quiet truth has been unfolding, waiting for this moment to be fully heard. You are not merely an observer of this grandeur. You are a part of the mountain's story, and the mountain is a part of yours. Your breath, your bones, your very existence are woven into the same ancient tapestry. Consider the air you breathe. With every inhalation, you draw in atoms of oxygen that were once swept over high passes by mountain winds. You may be breathing the very same molecule that once swirled around a soaring eagle or was exhaled by an ancient pine tree on a high ridge. The air is a continuous, invisible river, and the mountains are its great stone banks, shaping its flow and sharing it with the entire world. Your life is sustained by this shared atmosphere, a constant, intimate exchange between your lungs and the peaks. Consider the water you drink. The crystal clarity of a glass of water holds the memory of high glaciers and deep aquifers. The same hydrologic cycle that carves valleys and feeds mountain springs also courses through you. The water that once fell as snow on a silent summit now comprises a part of you, hydrating your cells, carrying your thoughts, and cleansing your body. You are quite literally drinking the mountain, and it becomes you, a fluid reminder of our profound interconnection. Consider the stone beneath your feet, even if it is paved over by a city. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, were forged in the hearts of long-dead stars and later compressed into the very rock that forms the planet's crust. The mountains are the most dramatic expression of that crust. The same elements that form granite and limestone also form you. You are not on the earth. You are of the earth. Your body is made of the same stardust and stone, temporarily arranged into a living, breathing form. The mountain's permanence and your transience are two expressions of the same fundamental stuff of the universe. But this connection is more than just chemical. It is spiritual and emotional. The mountain's lessons are a mirror for your own soul. Its patient resilience in the face of endless wind and weather reflects your own capacity to endure life's storms. The quiet persistence of the alpine flora, thriving with so little, mirrors your own ability to find joy and growth in simplicity. The mountain's deep, unshakable stillness, its core of peace beneath the changing weather, is a quality that resides within you, waiting to be discovered beneath the changing weather of your own thoughts and emotions. You carry an inner mountainscape. You have peaks of joy and triumph and valleys of rest and reflection. You have experienced the tectonic shifts of great change and the slow, erosive patience required for healing. You have known the bright, clear light of understanding and the soft, comforting shadows of uncertainty. Your life is not a flat plain. It is a rich, varied, and beautiful topography, sculpted by experience and time. So, as you lie here now at the edge of sleep, feel this truth in the weight of your body. Feel the ancient strength of stone in your bones. Feel the fluid, life-giving memory of mountain water in your veins. Feel the expansive, shared air filling your lungs. You are a living, conscious part of this magnificent, ongoing story. The same forces that raised the Himalayas and carved the Grand Canyon also pulse within you, the force of life itself, resilient, adaptive, and beautiful. There is no separation. The peace you have found in these stories was never outside of you. It was always within, as fundamental to your being as your own heartbeat. The mountain silence is your silence. Its strength is your strength. Its timeless rhythm is the rhythm of your own heart, slowed and steadied for rest. Let this knowing be the final thought that carries you into sleep. You are not a stranger in a strange land. You are home. You belong to this earth as surely as the rivers and the stars. The mountain does not judge your struggles or your triumphs. It simply offers its silent, steadfast presence as a reminder of your own. So rest now, not as a visitor to these high places, but as their kin.
Let the entire story, the breathing, the sculpting, the flowing, the sinking, wash over you and through you.
You are cradled in the immense, gentle hand of a planet that knows both cataclysm and perfect peace. You are a part of the mountain story, and it is a part of you. There is nothing more to do, nothing to become. You are already and always whole. Breathe, let go, sleep. The mountain holds you now.